And especially thank you to our candidates who are here. We appreciate it. Jen Goodnow could not be here tonight, but she did submit her answers, and Madam Member Christine Lillenquist, who's at the very end down there, will be reading her answers to a lot of these questions as well. Quick thank you to our Genius team, who is up there not only working on the live stream, but they have also provided our timer here, Miss Kim Erdahl, with the ability to flash a red light at our candidates when their time is getting close to call. So I know we're quite fancy here at Morris Area Schools, so when you get elected, you know how to handle that. So all the candidates were given the rules for tonight a little bit early. I'll just give a quickly summary of those. This is not a debate, it's more of just a forum, so most of the questions were presented to questions were given to the candidates earlier, so they kind of know what's happening. They know not to interrupt each other, and they are limited to a 3-minute time limit for all of our questions, and then a 2-minute wrap up at the end where they can express any other final thoughts that they might have. They're allowed to take notes and do that kind of stuff as well. There will be no questions from the audience. However, we do encourage you to get to know some of our candidates afterwards. We'll be serving some drinks and cookies in the hallway, and the candidates will be around for some chats there too. So we're going to start with each candidate taking a moment to share a little bit about themselves and what motivates them to want to become a board member here for Morris Area Schools. And we'll let the candidates introduce themselves as we go down. You might have to flip it up.
Can everybody hear me? There we go. Awesome. I'm Trevor Seals. We moved here 17 years ago, and we came from Oklahoma. I'm an Army Reserve veteran. We came up here to take over a family business. It used to be Munsterman Accounting and Tax, and now it's Seals Advisory Solutions. I've been involved in a number of nonprofits in our community for a while, most recently Russ Kinship. Served on the Courage Cottage Fund Development Committee, and when we first moved here, I was involved in Kiwanis, and have a faith in Christ that if there's any light for me to shine, that's where it's coming from. And the biggest thing that brings me here tonight is just gratitude. This school district has given our family a lot. It's been a great experience for all our children, and I want to say thank you in service. That's why I'm here.
Good night, everyone. My name is Miguel Ángel Urrutia Calvo. I'm married with Melissa. She's there also. We have a 13-year-old son, 8th grader, Mitchell. He's in home probably seeing this by streaming. Thanks for the opportunity to invite me to talk about a little bit of my thoughts and what can I help. It's a good learning for me, this opportunity to try to understand more about the politicals that are happening in our community. I went to college to be a mechanical engineer. I'm working with Riverview since 2008. Right now, I was doing different roles during these years, and now I am overseeing the operations and maintenance for our facilities. That's what I'm doing that year. Motivate me to be here. It's to understand and try to help in some way. I was thinking to be a volunteer, but motivates me more to represent the Hispanic community. In some way, I know that it's increasing during these years. That's why it motivates me. When I was asking if I can be a candidate or to be part of the school board, was the first thought that I have and was the first question that I had at that time, and so that's why I'm here. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Hello. My name is Naomi Skulon. I have been in Morris since 2016. My husband and I moved here so I could work at the library at the University of Minnesota Morris, where I still work. We have two wonderful sons. One is 6. He's in first grade right now, Charles. And my second son is Peter. He's in preschool. And we often go to community ed with him, and he loves coming to the school. So what motivates me to become a board member is I'm really dedicated to service to this community. Since I moved here, I've been really involved in a variety of nonprofits as well as civic groups. So I'm part of the Morris Area Women of Today. I've been the president and the treasurer. I run the annual Easter egg hunt here in the school for that group every year. I'm also the president of the Friends of the Morris Public Library, where we have just created a new playhouse, if you haven't seen it yet, for the kids in the area. So I'm really dedicated to giving back to the community. I thought that being on the school board would be a really great way to give back to the school, especially as my children start entering elementary and then soon higher grades. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Eckel. I've been in Stevens County for a little over 2 decades. Specifically, I've lived in Morris for about 12 years now, 13 years? Yeah. So, been here a while. A little bit about myself. So I'm a mom of 2. My youngest is still in school. She's in 7th grade, Andy. I've been an active community member for quite some time, sitting on boards and nonprofits in the area, working with the local Pre-Renaissance Cultural Alliance on their board. I served on that board for 9 years. I run their arts camp, summer arts camp for elementary age children, and I'm a member of the Morris Area Women of Today with Naomi, the American Legion, Eagles, Lions, just very active with the community, trying to stay connected with community. I work at the university as well. My role is in the Office of Community Engagement, where I coordinate programs for volunteering for both community members and students to bridge that gap and provide services for the community, as well as opportunities for students to, broaden their horizons, get experience, and grow as an individual to prepare them for their future roles in their future communities. And what motivates me to become a board member is I've had challenges in the past with my oldest, and I've also talked to other parents and some teachers and others who they have challenges and struggles, and I just want to be a voice for those people that I've had those conversations with. I also want to be a part of that conversation to address those issues that I've faced and that others have faced and have been willing to share with me. I also am motivated by wanting to see that Morris be the best opportunity in the area for children, and in finding creative and new ways to improve everything about Morris where there is potential for improvement. So just being creative and providing a new insight and new perspective that the board may have not had before, because I'm a creative thinker and creative problem solving is one of my best skills. Thank you, and thank you to the Morris Area Teachers Association for hosting.
Good evening. My name is Kurt Wolf. My wife Savannah and I have 12 children, 2 which have graduated from Morris, 8 are currently in the building, and we have 2 yet to start school. I am a 1995 graduate of Morris Area Schools, and I've served for 8 years on the school board currently, and I am motivated to continue to do that. I feel like I bring some experience to the table, and I also have a very vested interest in keeping Morris a very viable education source in our region.
My name is Steve Just. First, I want to say thank you to the Morris Area Teachers Association for this opportunity and this invitation. Greatly appreciated it. And as I look around the table, 8 candidates for school board I think is fantastic. So that gives me hope and encourage that we have a great list of candidates up here. A little bit about myself. I'm a father of 5 kids and a husband of 1 wife who elementary teacher, kindergarten teacher. 3 of our children have graduated and are products of Morris area schools, and I've been thrilled with the success that they've had as a consequence of going to school here. 2 in high school, 1 in 7th grade and 1 in 12th grade, and so it's been a pleasure seeing that growth, seeing they're moving along through the school, and just excited to see how they all develop. And I know it's success because of the school system that we do have here. As far as why I'm motivated to be on the school board, like Kurt, currently on the school board, I feel very strongly that community service, community involvement is something we're all obligated to do at some level based on whatever our talents or skills or gifts that we have, whether that's serving as a volunteer coach, whether that's serving in 4-H as a leader within your church, what have you. School board, I think, is a good fit for my skill set and talents. And again, like the others have said, with children in school, it is certainly a vested interest that we want them to succeed, but as importantly, for our community to succeed, we need to have a good school system. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Zick-Herman, and I'll echo the gratitude to the Morris Area Teachers Association for hosting this event. I'm from the area. I grew up in Graceville, Minnesota, and moved to Morris 30 years ago to attend the University of Minnesota Morris, and ended up loving living in Morris and have never left, so you can't get rid of me yet. I met my husband Brian there at UMM, and we stayed and raised our family here. So we have 2 children, Aiden, who's a 9th grader, and then Auburn, who's a 7th grader here at Morris Area Schools. I'm actually a licensed K-12 music teacher and just haven't had that opportunity to use those talents here. But in my preparation, I really learned to value and get a lot of knowledge about what the teaching profession is like, and through some substitute teaching and all that. I can't profess to know what it's like to be, in the trenches day to day, but I do have a deep appreciation for that. I went on and got a master's and a doctorate in educational policy and administration from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. And so I've kind of lived in this realm of policy and administration and thinking about how we change organizations to be the strongest they can be. So really an interest in tackling problems, implementing solutions, and so when I thought about this opportunity, I saw there was going to be an opening on the school board. I thought I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I was really excited because I think it's a great way to utilize some of my skills and my background and my interests. And I think first and foremost, I'm not afraid of challenges, and because I really do think there are opportunities for growth. So I'd like to be able to add some of that to our community. So thank you again.
Hello, I'm Christy Lillianquist, and like Joe said, I'm here for Jennifer Goodenow. She did not answer this question. She merely commented that it was similar to questions that she's already answered from the newspaper, so you can check out our answers there.
All right, thank you. We're gonna just skip around a little bit and get kind of to the meat and potatoes here. How would you ensure that the school district addresses the needs of diverse learners, including students with disabilities, English language learners, and those from different cultural backgrounds, to ensure that they receive the support necessary to thrive both academically and socially?
Okay, all right, everybody can hear me. Well, the first place for me that I have to start is recognizing the privilege that I have. I think when you're looking at the privileges that we have sometimes can create ignorance when you're looking at other people that have challenges and not being able to understand those challenges. And so one of the things that I want to do is bring a self-awareness of that privilege to the table, because I think it makes me a better listener and helping to understand those conversations with people that are experiencing challenges that need help. And I want to be able to hear that voice. When it comes to the English learners, one thing that I came across was some funding that we're getting right now from the state of Minnesota They have about $2 million a year that they're allocating out proportionally to each school district, and that's scheduled to expire at the end of next year. And so as a school board member, I guess I'd like to be a voice where maybe there isn't one at our legislative level, and advocate to keep that funding coming and increase it if possible. And then another thing I really look at is our special education cooperative that I think serves 8 school districts, but it's headquartered right here in our district, and that's kind of a resource in its proximity to us. And so one thing I'd really like to do is start meeting with the administration and staff there to understand what their needs are and listen to them and how we can support and promote them in everything that they're doing for our school district.
I have my notes here. Sorry about it, but I need to have some guidance here. I believe that the district is doing inclusivity for our students. I think every student needs to be treated as an individual. But I'm gonna say that in my thoughts, I have a wife that is a left-hander. So some of our things I need to think about how she needs some stuff around the home, around everywhere, you know? If you think that way in everything that is happening around us, probably you give the same opportunity to our students, staff, etc. It doesn't matter which is the person, where it's coming from, and I know that we have a very good program with the not English speakers that arrive to our schools. They have a very good program trying to involve them in, as soon as possible to the cultural thing around here, including the English, you know? If it's an Hispanic person or if it's another language around, we have very good program. I mean, we have different needs, so my purpose is to be a person to listen these options and try to accept it's a challenge to do and try to do the best for the district, is what I say.
All right, so I'm a really big believer in equity, in that we need to be able to provide equitable education to all of our students, but that doesn't look the same for every student. So the type of education that we provide, the ways that we're providing that education isn't going to be the same for every student, because different students have different needs. And so students may have trouble with auditory learning, they may have physical needs that are different from the other students, they may not speak English as a first language. And so every student is individual and has different needs. So I think the biggest way that the school board could deal with that or help support those students is to talk with the teachers. So the teachers are working with these students every single day in the classroom. They know them personally, they know them really well, and they know the needs that they have. And I think the school board could be talking with the teachers of what we could be doing as an institution to better support teachers in providing the education that they are trying to provide to all of their diverse students in a way that works for everyone. And so sometimes that might mean more support in the classroom in terms of paraprofessionals. Maybe that means a different type of training. Maybe that means something completely different. I think it's important to listen to the teachers to know what we really should be looking at moving forward and ways that we could address maybe some disparities for students who have particular needs.
So the one thing that always comes to my mind when thinking about the different students' needs, students who are, second language for English and having disabilities and the various different needs, is that it's the staff need more support. That we need more members who are dedicated to those pieces, because having all those burdens put on individual classroom teachers or the minimal staff outside of the classrooms, it's just not enough. There needs to be more bilingual staff members, because the growing population of Spanish-speaking children is continues to grow. We also need staff members who are more dedicated to, understanding the needs of children with the various disabilities. And so it'll be, looking at grant opportunities to explore opportunities for reaching into different research and utilizing those new and innovative tools. But that's something that we can't put on current teachers who are already stretched way too thin and giving up more than all they have, really. And so we need to find other sources of funding to bring into the district so that we can provide additional staff for those learners. And then also to asking the teachers, where do they feel that they need support? Do they feel like they are comfortable with where they're at in their understanding of different cultural backgrounds? What educational opportunities are missing, and help them to find those opportunities and make sure that there's funding to pay for those opportunities and their time. And then talking also to the family. They know their kids best, and talking to the communities that these are their day-to-day challenges and lives. They know of resources, they know of ideas, they are a voice that need to be heard. So I want to hear from them and share their thoughts and opinions and ideas so that we can work together as a team to provide for these students.
Yeah, so I would just say as I have served over the last 8 years, we have had a very strong focus on keeping classroom sizes manageable for teachers with the number of students, which helps, and we have added staff to address these types of issues. Our goal is to educate all students that arrive at Morris area schools, and we're going to continue to do that.
The diversity in our school, I think, is one of our great assets, and I've always been amazed, even when some of our kids have friends over, there might be 4 or 5 different cultural backgrounds in our house at one time, and it's something that I don't think many other rural schools have that advantage, and so I certainly see that as a strength. Having said that, as far as the question, how do we ensure that? Well, that certainly is a challenge, and the only thing that I can ensure, guarantee, is that I'll work hard to try to meet these challenges. But there's no promises to be made on that end, because we know these challenges, these situations, these opportunities are only going to increase as our needs of our students have changed over the years. And the resources that we need to meet those challenges, whether that's personnel or financial, those are limited, as any business in town or anywhere around will say. There's just fewer people, but yet the need is still growing. So we are facing that, and the school board is aware of it and really wants to make those, meet those changes and those challenges, but certainly is the reality that we're dealing with. I think one of the things that we need to be aware of is that when students graduate and the parents maybe lose touch with the school, and they aren't aware of some of the situations, the challenges, the issues that a school has. And that's just human nature. And even for the students, when they graduate, they move on, they don't know what's going on. We remember what it was like when we were there, when our kids were there. So I think it's important that the school board, the administration, communicates to the community what things need to be addressed, or maybe how they can help address those issues. Because the school is the heartbeat of a community, and we do need the support of the community as well, again, to meet those personnel issues, the challenges, as well as financial issues. And these issues don't affect just those ELL students or those with special needs. If we're not meeting their needs, that also affects every other student. So it's important for them, it's important for the community, because that's the product that we're putting out to help keep the community growing. Thanks.
I'll just add a couple additional thoughts, although there are a lot of good points brought up. I think the first priority of a district is, in our district in particular, is to make sure that every student is prepared for that next phase of life to their fullest potential. And that can look different for different students, but we do have an obligation to move all students along and get them to where they need to be. I think to get to that point, you have to have an understanding, and this is a point that's been brought up by others, but that you need to understand what are the actual challenges, and that information comes, of course, directly from the teachers who are working with students day to day, what their needs are, where they could use more support, and also the families who are, of course, deeply invested in their children and their futures. This, of course, is a moving target, right? So this is really a challenge that requires constant attention. It requires advocacy from the school board, from community members. We want to see what kinds of resources are available to us, just because those can change, new opportunities and new grants, new programs, more support from the state if that's possible. Those are all things we should be looking at so that we're putting policies and resources in place to do the very best we can for our students. It's going to take a team approach, and so I think all of us working together as a school board, as a school community, as the community of Morris will be really important. So I think just measuring, where we're at, where we're going, and are we making progress on those goals will be very important.
I kind of got thrown into this at the very last minute, and Jennifer did write a reply to how are you currently involved in your child's education, and I just want to read what she wrote there too. My son is a junior at Morris Area High School, and my involvement beyond checking JMC is largely with him. We talk about what he's learning in class and how he's doing. I'm confident if I had questions or concerns, I could attend teacher conferences or reach out to one of his teachers. This year, he is also taking college in the school's classes and a class at UMM. And then to address the current question, how will you ensure the school district addresses the needs? This is an important question, as we are fortunate to have at Morris area schools students and families with a wide variety of life stories. We owe all of them the best possible education and experience. Given that the school board is a governing body, not a managing body, I think one of the most important ways for me to have an impact is for me to convey those who do manage, meaning the administration, that I expect the district to be addressing the needs of all those groups. The board should set expectations and create a culture of inclusion. We have policies in place, but the implementation happens by those doing the work day in and day out. I convey my expectations via the questions and comments I've made at full board meetings and also in committee meetings. I think another way the school addresses these needs is through community partnerships and being open to working with others who have more knowledge about the needs of our diverse Tiger community.
Okay, for our next question, we're actually going to start at the other end of the table and come back. We're going to turn now to a national issue, which is the national educator shortage. So our question for the candidates is, what strategies would you propose to improve staff retention, so not just educators, but all staff retention in Morris area schools, and how would you ensure that those staff members are supported and would want to stay here? So we'll start with Jen Goodnow's answer at the end. Sorry, I put you on the spot.
This is a great question, and one of the concerns on the minds of the school board, not just here, but nationwide. From our teachers to our food service staff, paras to bus drivers, administrators to custodians, everyone has an impact on our students and is a necessary part of making Morris area schools and our students successful. I more fully note the challenges of budget in the next question, so I'll mention two other things here. One of the things I've advocated for during my time on the board, specifically on the personnel committee, is small class sizes when possible. I recognize we aren't always able to get the class sizes we'd all like due to things like space constraints or unexpected enrollment growth late in the summer or qualified staff availability, but I've always made sure the conversation is happening. As a school board member, a second thing I believe strongly in is a way to support staff is to stay in my lane. I respect that our teachers and staff have expertise in the areas, and they don't need the school board members micromanaging the menu in the cafeteria or reading the curriculum or what brand of tires to put on the buses.
I really appreciate this question, and I know it's a question that's, like Joe said, is a national concern and one that school districts are wrestling with, certainly in our region, across the state. Teaching is not an easy profession, but those who teach really do have a passion for the work. And I think our job is to provide the resources, opportunities, the support that they need to be successful and ultimately stay and remain an integral part of our community and our school community. I think it would be safe to assume that students benefit when teachers feel well supported, because teacher satisfaction and well-being has a direct manifestation in the classroom. So it really is a priority. I guess I want to see data on the reasons why teachers are leaving, and there's many reasons, and they can be highly individualized. But if we see any certain trends or specific reasons, people retire, some things we cannot help, they need to move for family reasons, whatever. But for the things that we can have some control over, I think we would want to be looking into that and seeing if there's any systemic solutions to these challenges. Things like positive working environments, school culture, quality facilities, competitive compensation and benefits, professional development and leave opportunities are all quality of life measures that we can provide for our teachers. And I think things that as a board we could look at, of course, like Jen said, staying in our lane, but areas that we could look at to improve staff retention here at the district.
As was mentioned, this is a national issue, not just for schools or teachers, but for all businesses. How do you attract and retain staff? In particular, you want your good staff for sure. And that's multifaceted. Certainly compensation is one issue. As was mentioned, creating a good work environment is as critical as well. The idea that for some of our staff, just the idea of being able to get a bathroom break in during the day sometimes can be a challenge, let alone not having a break room. And so, at least fortunately with the new school addition, we can get a break room back. But again, little things like that helps build towards a good place to work at. But I really do appreciate Jen Goodnow's comments about the role of the school board. It is a lot about holding administration accountable and also creating an environment that empowers people to do their job. And we stay in our lane, but at the same time, I think one of our successes at Morris has been our school board. I've been extremely impressed with how well we've worked together, as was mentioned, staying in our lane, and letting the administration know that we support them, but at the same time, we are there, and part of our job is to make sure that they create that environment where teachers and staff are empowered to do their job, maybe to think outside of the box, be creative, and take some risks to try new things, which all helps build a better work environment.
I think I could really answer this question with one word, and I could expound if you'd want me to, but culture is really what it's about. And the sooner we can move towards all being Tigers and celebrating that, no matter which role we serve in the district, that's going to play well for everyone involved.
So strategies I would like to see more, and not to contradict the stay in your lane, but I kind of feel like we are in a similar lane. I think we're just different aspects of that lane. We need to be paving the road and making sure that the highways and in different streets that these teachers want to take their vehicle down is, are prepared and paved so it is a smooth ride. I want to make sure that the teachers are heard. They need to, yes, it is about compensation, but it's also about, what are the issues that they're facing in the classrooms, and what do they see as potential solutions? Working collaboratively as a team, hearing what they have to say, and brainstorming together to create those solutions, because it is teamwork that bringing those minds together tends to have the most creative and most effective solutions. And I do want to think about, with the compensation again, the competitive nature. Like, we need to be competitive with the area. We need to be enticing in multitude of ways. It's not just about money, and it's not just about healthcare, and it is about making sure that the students that are in the classroom are prepared to be there, that the parents are on the same page with the teachers. It's a multi-level problem. It's not just one piece that's driving teachers out of classrooms. It's communication problems, it's compensation, it's long hours, it's, this world's become excessively more stressful and more overwhelming in so many different ways. And it's not just about, work and, careers, it's family life, it's, social media, it's all these things. It's an overwhelming time to be, alive. So thinking about just creative ways together and realizing that, we are in this together and we all want the same thing, a great environment, a great opportunities. We all want the same thing, as far as we want their kids to have a great experience. So we have common goals.
All right, a lot of the things that people have said are the things that I also believe, but one thing that I always think about is, someone mentioned it earlier, but questions about why are people leaving? Why are people not accepting a job if they're offered it? Why are we having such problems? And so kind of getting some data both locally of why are people leaving? Why have they chosen to go somewhere else? Is it money? Is it benefits? Is it something completely different? And then you can make decisions to try to keep people or attract people based on that information. In addition, as everyone has said, this is a national problem. This isn't unique to Morris, that there's trouble in attracting folks who are to these positions, to all of the types of different positions, custodians, bus drivers, teachers. And so I wonder if we could do some research on what other school districts are doing that have been successful. Maybe we need to look at what other folks have done and see if anything would make sense here. Obviously, something that's happening in a big city where they have way more funding might not be feasible here, but I'm sure there are places that are doing unique and creative things to address this issue that we could really think about implementing here. The last thing I want to say is I think, everyone has talked about culture and about being heard. I think one of the things we need to do is just make sure we listen to folks. What are their struggles? Are there things that we can do to help make it easier to work at the school? And not just listen, but actually implement changes. So it's hard when you feel listened to, but then nothing changes ever. And so making sure that we're not just listening, but also implementing real practical changes.
When I read this question, it moved me, and I started thinking, my parents are teachers, my grandparents were teachers, and I experienced once, with my grandmother, we went to a restaurant, and the manager of the site went with her, and he was grateful. He was telling her that things that my grandmother did to him, the good influence she gave to him was something that moves him to move forward during the life. And I saw this, and I didn't understand until I received this question, and I think it's what the importance of the staff. And if you see every one of us, we remember something for our one teacher or one person, the bus driver, or the person that is the janitor on the school, or I don't know. Some person put something in our hearts, and I think every person is important, as I was saying. Having grown up in a family of educators, believe me, I understand what these things are about. I'm aware of what is happening. I think it is vital that we recognize this, and we need to support and hear, same as the other candidates are saying, and adding the adding value that they are having to our kids, our child, our students. So, yeah, we need to be, if you give me the opportunity, I'll be very committed to fostering and motivate and do a good environment for our staff to having them here, because I know the importance to be a teacher.
Well, I think the teachers I'm looking at tonight and all the teachers I know and everybody that works here at the school are probably in this profession driven by their passion, but we all know money doesn't buy a happiness, but I think as the song goes, it can buy a boat. And you know, when I look at the position of strength we have as a school district when we're looking at teachers' compensation, I really find that we're not in a good spot. I looked at the data of 16 school districts in our West Central neighborhood, and we're third from the bottom in revenue per student. So if I'm coming to the table as a board member trying to figure out how to compensate all of our staff, I don't have a very big stick to swing here. So I started looking at what are other school districts getting that we're not. And one in particular is a form of compensation they called Q-Comp, or it's an alternative compensation structure that's not automatic. We have to work at it to get it, but it starts with the teachers. And you can put together a plan that's approved by Minnesota Department of Education. And if that's something that we were able to get, that'd be another $276,000 for our school district. That's like $2,000 more take home for every one of our workers. There's 2 districts within a mile or within an hour drive from our district that are getting that. And when you look at our Minnesota Rural Education Association legislative platform, they're actually wanting to get it so that that Q-Comp applies to all school districts. There's actually a 27 school waiting list just to get it. So I think as a school board member, I'd want to carry a voice to our legislator and say, let's grease the wheels and open up some more revenue, because this would be a source from the state, which would eliminate us having to go locally for more funding. And there's some other things we can do too, you know, just thinking creatively. When you look at the revenue we get from the state, there's 14 categories. I mean, it's insane. And within each of those categories, there's little nuanced revenue corners that you can find, like 3rd and 4th grade literacy. If our 3rd and 4th grade students perform at a certain level, we get $530 more per kid. I mean, I think we could, as a school district, promote that and like look at it and say, hey, if we can work in the classroom and at the home and get parents involved and increase, it's a win-win, because then our students are reading better and we're increasing revenue. But whatever's going to happen isn't going to happen just in the classroom. It's going to take the school board, the district, and parents to get involved and do it. And I see the red lights on, so I'll shut up.
Thank you. If it's okay with the school board or nominees, we're going to try and cut down to 2 minutes that we can get a few more questions in. We'll start the next question with Mr. Wolf and go to the right and then come back down here. How do you feel extracurricular activities fit into the overall educational experience for our students?
Yeah, I really like this question because it's extracurricular, and so that means outside of curriculum. And I think if we stay focused on the curriculum and have a strong base, I think we'll do really well. There's definitely a educational experience to be had for students that choose to go in those different activities. But it's kind of like Super Bowl teams, right? None of them win with the flashiest jersey or the highest paid quarterback or anything like that. It's the whole team doing the basics really well. And so I think if we stick to the basics, and keep extracurricular extra, I think that will serve us well.
Yeah, excuse me. This is a great question. I've always been impressed since the day we got here over 24 years ago with the opportunities that we have here in Morris for the size of the town, for the size of the school. There's something for everybody. It really is a diverse opportunities for everyone. And again, it's extracurricular, so it's not just sports. We've got everything. So I do feel strongly that it is an important aspect, not just of the educational experience, but the overall growth and development of our young people. And we always talk about, what sports or extracurriculars, what they teach our kids, that working hard, being a team member. I've wanted to write a book on the things that the extracurriculars teach us that nobody talks about. Those are the things like maybe you don't get along with your coach. Maybe you're the best one for that part in the play. Maybe you're, should be starting on the team, but you're not. These are things that you have to learn to deal with in life because you ain't always going to get along with your boss. There are going to be challenges that you face, and us as parents and as faculty and staff in schools that help our young people deal and navigate through those challenges. That's what they're for. It's not the winning. Winning is not everything. Morris hasn't won, I don't know how many state championships, but we've put out great products because students have had those opportunities to participate and to learn those life skills. And again, the curricular stuff, we have a fantastic opportunity with that as well. Oh, the red light's on now. I know what that means. All right, thank you.
30 seconds.
The red light just indicates you have 30 seconds left. That's so you can thought you have time.
Sorry about that.
So extracurricular activities are really a broad array of activities. So not just sports, not just art, like fine arts, clubs, special interest groups, all of that. And I think what they provide is an important component of a student's total education in a way, and I think an important way for them to find connection if they aren't necessarily gelling in one place in a classroom or whatever. It provides another way for them to feel like they belong and be connected to the community. We often hear about the importance of soft skills, which is a terrible way to frame really important things like leadership and good communication, motivation, ability to work with others, navigate conflict, confidence, all of those types of skills that they learn. And that can happen through participating in these activities. I do appreciate that here there is accountability related to academic performance, that comes first. So students need to be doing well in the classroom to participate in extracurricular activities. And I think that encourages them to stay in good academic standing. I think there's two positive benefits to that. One, when you're participating in extracurricular activities, you can apply some of the things you're learning in the classroom into real life situations. So they can apply the things they're learning in a real life situation. And also, I think it provides that motivation to do well and stay involved in an activity that's important to them.
Extra and co-curricular activities are a real strength at Morris area schools, as they should be. This is also a way to be inclusive, related to the earlier question, by providing a wide variety of opportunities for students to engage in meaningful activities. Our additional offerings through community education are the envy of many schools locally. And when I've had an opportunity to learn about what's happening at schools statewide at the Minnesota School Board Association Conference, it's clear we outkick our coverage. This was also reflected in the external evaluation during our recent strategic planning consultation, as the data presented to us showed growth while many peer schools are seeing reductions in both participation and in actual activities. During my 8 years on the school board, we've added activities and sports, as well as formed co-ops to allow students from nearby districts to participate with our students when their own school doesn't offer the extracurricular. I credit and applaud our coaches and advisors, without whom we wouldn't be able to offer our students options which match their interests. This research around the benefits of participation in extra and co-curricular activities is clear, so I'm very proud of what we're doing here at Morris Area Schools for our students.
Mr. Seals. I'll just echo a lot of what's been said already. Our kids have been involved in all kinds of extracurricular activities, and really what Jen was saying about the soft skills is, I think, what's an important part of that well-rounded experience that extracurricular activities bring. And kids coming out of school today, I mean, we're looking for them to be kind, be able to talk, engage with other people. And I tell our kids all the time, like, you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you're a jerk, you're not going anywhere. So sometimes extracurricular activities help unloosen the necktie a little bit for our kids to do that, and it's good opportunities to expose them to all kinds of things and just lead for a well-rounded experience. So I fully support them and echo everything else that's been said tonight.
We were having experienced different educational environments for our son. I believe that the district is ahead, but however, we should continue to expand our extracurricular activities. I would say that the generations are changing. We need to be open to include more activities like social media, marketing, and other kind of these activities. So it's a good opportunity to expand our programming, computers, gaming, all these kind of things that the kids are interested to do. And with that, we have more capacity to open for the future, for the future careers of the sports are very important, but also other activities is what I say.
So like everyone else, I want to echo what everyone said, and that I think that co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, community ed, I think that's some of our strengths in our district. We have a really great community ed program. They offer a variety of different classes and a lot of different topics for a wide variety of ages. And so I think that's one thing that we're doing really well. And I think it's really important because there's always opportunities to play a sport or do something you're really passionate about if you have a family that can pay for it. So like if you're really into dance, you can always, you'll eventually find a time or a place to dance with someone if you can pay for those classes and those things. The great thing about community ed and co-curricular and extracurricular curriculars is it allows folks who maybe don't have that extra income to be able to fund their child's passion for this sport or fund their child's passion for dance or art or anything, to still participate, still have those experiences, which are so important. Everyone talked about the soft skills and leadership and those are really key skills for life. Those are things that will help children as they become adults and become active members of our society. And having children who are engaged and care about the community, care about the sports, care about the activities they're in will lead to adults who care about those things, who care about their community, who are active participants in their communities and really care. So I think the great thing about having all of these opportunities at the school district is it allows everyone to participate. It doesn't limit participation based on your income.
Yeah, I agree that extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities are very valuable. I echo that in my parenting. I make sure that my daughters know what's available to them and give them the option to choose activities they do. And my 12-year-old, she's in Girl Scouts, she's in 4-H, she plays piano, she does numerous different activities. Because I believe that those experiences make for a well-rounded and more confident individual. I also believe that it helps to understand who they are and what they're passionate about, and find that that inner passion as soon as possible, so that they are confident and driven and focused as an adult. I do want to talk about like making sure that all students feel welcome and included, and that these programs are accessible to them. So when there are fees, make sure that we're figuring out ways to find outside funding to address activity fees and make things accessible to all children, and make sure that they're all welcomed in those programs.
Okay, since we're trying to keep it to an hour, we're going to wrap up a little bit. We're going to give every candidate an opportunity to do a 2-minute closing. There are several questions that we asked them to be prepared with that we haven't gotten to, so if there's anything you want to touch on, we'll give you an opportunity to do that. So we'll start with Mr. Seals and work our way down.
So one of the questions that we haven't got to yet was the upcoming building project, and I just want to make it known I did vote yes for that. I think it's a necessary move forward with our building project. But I've also got experience in being on boards before where we've done building projects, and I can tell you as a small business owner, I've done building projects myself. And there's nobody that's going to advocate for your budget more than you will. And so it's really important to keep a close proximity to the scope of the project. And if you take something from a broad scope and work through it down to a granular level, I promise during that process you'll find areas of savings. It's not lost on me that building project vote was very close. I think it only passed by 52 votes. And I want to bring an attitude to the table of how can we spend as little possible and still accomplish the goal of what that building project set out to do. Beyond that, the last question that I have on here was what do you think our district is doing well and what does it need to improve on? And for us, the district has been a huge part of our life. Our kids, through 14 years of enrollment, have had great experiences with teachers and administration at all levels. If you go around and like we have in sports and stuff, and you see other schools in our district, we have a really great school. I mean, we have great facilities and we have tidy spaces. Sometimes it's easy to see spills instead of shines, but really, honestly, if you look around, our janitorial staff keeps some great tidy spaces for us. And I'm just thankful for everything that our district has done. And the last thing I guess I'll say is areas of improvement. You know, our vision as a district is to become the finest district in West Central Minnesota. And I think as we endeavor to achieve that, that's going to be the rising tide that raises the ship of all our areas of improvement. So thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for inviting us and putting this on, and I appreciate your time and support.
I think I want to follow the same questions to answer. I'm going to read. About expansion, about the building project, I see a significant value to contributing in the discussions for the project. Probably with my background as an engineer, I could be valued to overall see if our staff and students has a safe environment. I could make sure that is happening. About the district, overall I commend the district for its strong community and the dedication of all the staff and the teachers. It is there. I think it's a strength to be there. It's a commitment for the staff. That's what Trevor is saying. It's a great school. However, I believe that we can enhance our focus in technology. Probably we can send some teachers to be trained to improve our teaching to our kids, to our child. Having more training opportunities for our staff. We should foster new ideas to improve communication, also with the parents. I think it's helping now. I saw the transition to have more communication with the tools that we have now. So we need to keep encouraging them to the district to continue doing these improvements. So it's what I say. Thanks for the opportunity. I don't know if it was a forum before, but it's good to learn these things. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to talk briefly on the building project as well. So I think the biggest thing for me about the big building project, I think it's very needed. Obviously, we're running out of space, but I think one thing we always have to be thinking about is not just dealing with the short-term issues that we're having that have led to this building project. You know, we're out of space, we need this, but also thinking about the future. We need to really be looking forward, looking ahead. What do we need in the next 10 years? What do we need in the next 15 years? Because ideally, this building will last, you know, for a long time in the future, and we want to make sure that we're thinking ahead to what our needs are going to be, and making sure that the building and the work that is done is flexible in a way that it can meet our future needs as well as our current needs. And so that's something I really think overall is really important, is we need to be future focused. We need to be thinking ahead to what can we do in the future? What can we be doing to really make this the best school district in West Central Minnesota, to make sure that we're retaining our teachers who are excellent. The last thing I want to say is I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting us. My son absolutely loves going to school. Everyone he has worked with, he has nothing but really positive things to say, from the person who helps him open his packages at lunch to the people who tell him where he's going when he's completely lost. So I think that I'm really grateful to live in this community. I'm really grateful for everyone who works here at the school, and I would love to support you by being a member of the school board.
Again, with the following kind of the same suit, I wanted to think more proactive and not reactive as well. I feel like we need to plan for the long term. We don't want to be, you know, addressing problems after they are here, and we're trying to, you know, and we're stressing over them, and we're trying to modify. We need to think about what our needs are down the road. So definitely wanting to think about that building project as an opportunity to, you know, address long-term address solutions in the long term, and not just right now. I think that the school district does a number of things well. We're constantly being creative and making positive environments for children. I think we've done well to find a lot of amazing teachers that have worked really hard to be connected with their students. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a student who says that they do not like their teacher. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity to for these children, and I think that where we need to be thinking about improvement is, again, that being proactive in our problem solving instead of the reactive. Again, thank you for having us tonight, and thank you to, you know, Morris area teachers for everything that you do.
Thank you. I would like to echo that, as well as thank you to MATA for putting this on. I think most of the MATA members have touched the life of one of my children to this point. If you haven't, probably in the next year. So thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work you do. I think my record speaks for itself.
Just to reiterate, again, one of the things that I think our school district does well is just providing the opportunities for every student in the school district. And that's a testament to the staffing and to the community that does get involved. One of the items I think that we can improve on, in not that we don't do a good job, but continually need to improve on, is to provide the vision, leadership, and creativity to meet the needs of our students. And what was said earlier, the challenges with staffing. Things like creating pathways maybe for paras to get their teaching licensure, if that's something that they're interested in, or possibly advocating to the state to give college credit for high school seniors or juniors that help work in the school or work in a classroom, to help encourage them to go on into the education field. But in closing, I'd just like to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the last 4 years on the school board. Anytime I think somebody casts a vote for you, I think that's a great responsibility, and I take that seriously. I've traveled quite a bit, and every time I tell somebody that I'm on the school board, the response has always kind of been like the same. It's like, oh, that's got to be tough. And I say no. I've really enjoyed the last 4 years. We've had challenges for sure, as every school has. But again, I think it's a testament to the current school board members, to the staff, and to the administration that we've gone through those things and have respected one another and worked to get to that common goal. And with that, I just humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Just a couple of closing thoughts to try to encapsulate a few ideas that have been floating around my head as we've had this conversation tonight. One, I think I keep reflecting on how grateful I am to be in this community and to have the teachers and the staff and the people that are backing up the school working together for the common good of our children. I've really appreciated the positive experiences my children have had, and I hope that it's reflected in other people's experiences with the school, and I want to be a part of ensuring that happens both now and in the future. I think we need to keep taking steps to improve, and continuous improvement is good for all of us, and so I'm dedicated to that. I know that people choose to move to and live in communities that have strong schools, so it's a priority for all of us. We all benefit from it. There's economic benefits, social benefits, a sense of pride, and really important in our rural community. So I'll just add those thoughts. I want to thank the Morris Teachers Association for hosting this event, and to the moderators who kept us all on track. That red light was effective, thanks. It's exciting to see so many people interested in serving in this role. I had no idea how, I knew there was an opening, and who knew there'd be so much interest, and I think that's just a testament to the type of the investment of people in this community and the good work that's been done by the school board and the recognition that there's more to do and we all can contribute. I really appreciate this opportunity and the time that you've all dedicated to this, and for the people that are watching online. I know it's a busy time of year, so I really, really thank you, and I appreciate your consideration and your vote.
Jennifer didn't really include a conclusion piece, but she did write an answer to another question, and I'm just going to use that as her conclusion. It's in regards to healthcare, but it has some overarching themes as well. This is a hard and very real question, because I know that many of us wish there were enough resources for everything that's important. There are only two real levers to provide the school with money: the state legislature and property taxes. I've certainly advocated with the state legislators for increases in operating funds, general education funding formula, for K-12 schools, and would plan to continue to do so. It's also important to push that the state not give us unfunded mandates. We do have one of the lower operating referendum levies in the area, or property taxes, but for the last operating referendum in 2020, the voters rejected the request to increase our operating levy. This is a statewide issue that schools and lots of other employers are struggling with, and I'd note that many school districts in the state are making headlines for their planned budget cuts. Thank you.
So I just want to remind everyone that the Morris or the Stevens County Times is doing an article, so if there are more things you want to learn about the candidates, you can read that. On behalf of the Morris Area Teachers Association, I want to thank you for coming out tonight, and for everybody who's watching at home. This is live streamed, and it will be recorded so you can watch it over again. MATA invites you to join us outside here in the lobby for some refreshments and a chance to meet with the candidates. I want to give all the candidates a big round of applause for coming out tonight and for what they want to do for our district. Thank you.